know I got the receipts, girl. You know I got the receipts. All right. Good morning. What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome back to the SweetpeaDiaries. It's your girl, Sweetpea, and I'm back with another video. Good morning, Blackness, Mrs. Jordan. Good morning, my moderator, T, the goddess. We are here this morning. Child, it's over for Diddy, child. Lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit. But these last two lawsuits came through while we were live last night. It was too late to even come back and read all of this court document paperwork that I received. So I held off until this morning. We have a lot to cover, so we're just going to jump right into it. If you guys know, then you know. There's so many people that are suing Diddy. They're coming through attorney Tony Busby, Mr. Busby. They're coming through Busby, okay? And when I tell you horrific. Now, new details have emerged from these lawsuits. There's two new victims, two new Jane Does. Well, one Jane Doe and another victim that actually is showing her face, showing her name, her picture and everything like that. Of course, these lawsuits occurred from situations that happened back in, the 90s and 2000s. Particularly one of the lawsuits, the actual Jane Doe, she actually is stating that she was assaulted by Diddy, the same playbook, drugged, okay, at the 1991. Remember that charity basketball event that he had, and where someone was trampled over, people were trampled over, someone lost their life, and he had to go to court and everything, and nothing ever came of it. I know he did settle, pay people or whatever, but you remember that Heavy D, like different acts performed, and it was a celebrity basketball event. Well, this Jane Doe is claiming that she was assaulted during that event. Okay. She came there to actually see one rapper, but she was met by Diddy, who assaulted her. We're going to go over the court documents. We're going to read from both of these situations. There was another situation, the woman that is actually revealing who she is. This woman is claiming that her brother won some type of contest to go to a white party or something of Diddy's through the radio station, and her brother was allowed to bring a +1, which happened to be her. And her experience, she woke up in a hospital after having a drink that was given to her at this event. She doesn't recall what happened. She just knows that she woke up severely hurt, bruised, clothes ripped off, panties missing, and she woke up in a hospital. She was robbed. She ain't had nothing but $20. Okay. I guess money that she had in her purse was gone. So we're going to go over that lawsuit as well. When I tell you that when you go through these lawsuits and you go through this paperwork, this man was a monster. Diddy was horrific. Okay. The stuff that these people claiming that they went through is just deplorable. Okay. And then the people that were around his team and people that were complicit, they turn and look the other way. We also have an article that I wanted to show you guys from a photographer that actually exposed that she had been to multiple white parties back in the day, about 20 or 30 white parties that she's taken pictures of. And she probably has some tea on these, reels and photos that she has taken. She probably sees some things going on, because I actually, in my thumbnail for this video, I actually can see a woman that looks like she's drugged. She appears to be intoxicated. Her head is hanging over. Her dress is, she's a little exposed down at the bottom. Looks like her dress is hiked up, or her split is split up higher than it probably was when she got there. But you can see, a bartender or a person that's working for Diddy popping bottles, opening up a bottle, looking like she's suspect. Diddy's handing out drinks, and a lot of these people say that he doesn't have a bar at these parties. He would have drinks already pre-made. He'd be passing them out. The waitresses would be passing them out. And people think that these drinks were, laced. He get everybody all laced up and then scout out who he want to take advantage of. But if you take a look at this photo right here that I use for my thumbnail, that looks like what's going on in this photo here. Look at this. Now he's giving out, look at this tray. This tray is wet. It's got, it's not even sanitary. It's wet. It's these little, what is in this? What kind of liquor is in that? He's got a bottle of champagne. Now, peep this. He got a bottle of champagne. Other people around him, these men behind him, these men got bottles of champagne. The party goers, like this woman next to him, is drinking this drink from these little cups. This woman that's down here with her head down look like she just done. She might be feeling the effects of whatever's in that glass. And then this woman is popping the bottle. Look like maybe it was Moet, or who knows. But who gets these drinks out of these bottles? Look like the men party goers. They get the drinks out of these bottles. People that are, unwilling participants, or people that don't know what's going on, the jokes that are, the jokes on them type of crowd, they look like they drinking these little liquor shots. Right? Look at it. The man back there, he with these little orange pants, leather pants, he's got a champagne flute with champagne. The man over here has a champagne flute with champagne. The white guy has a champagne flute with champagne. This black guy here's got a champagne flute with champagne. But then you've got this guy here, this guy over here, the women, they have these little drinks that Diddy is passing out. So it looks like we've got a freak off in the making, or a drugging in the making right here. It was caught on camera. T says, what the heck? Look at the white man as if he's making the one drink. I mean, or whispering to him, or who knows what's going on there. But you can clearly see this girl right here is slumped over. Head down, dress hiked up. You see, if you look down there, you can see that her thigh is out. Her split is a little split up more, but she's clearly out of it. So this is what would happen. And people said he passed out these kind of drinks. And that's what he's doing. He's drinking out of one thing, but he's giving people something else. And like I said, only certain people seem to be drinking from these little shot glasses. And that does look like Dougie Fresh. I thought the same thing, T. That's Dougie Fresh looking at the girl like that. Why? Okay. And like you can see that Dougie Fresh, if that's Dougie Fresh, it does look like him, and he doesn't have the shot glasses. He has the champagne. Okay. So the men that would participate with Diddy, a lot of people have said that it would be other celebrities there and other men there. But it looks like to me, they would be given one type of drink and the party goers would be given these lace drinks, allegedly. But that's what this picture looks like, okay? So I thought that was interesting that when I was doing the thumbnail that I captured this in the thumbnail. Like, wow, this just speaks volumes. So let's jump into the legal part of the video. As always, I'm going to issue a disclaimer. Exactly. Why is he serving? He's rich. Well, like they said, he would never have an open bar or bartenders. It wouldn't be like the drinks would be behind and you go up and you ask for a certain drink. No, they were already pre-made. They would be just waitresses would be walking, bottle girls or whatever, models or probably sex workers. They would be walking around giving the drinks out, passing the drinks out. And you can see that this little the little tray there, it's wore out. That thing got all types of liquid on it. It's not clean. He's a rich man. Why does it look like that? You should have multiple people, passing out things that look a lot better than this. You should have, if you got bottle girls or servers there, you shouldn't have to be passing out drinks. But see, he's probably passing it out. And look at this person right here. Looks like he's reaching for the tray. He reaching it out to give it out to the other women on the other side. But this picture speaks volumes, okay? She down there she's sipping on her little drink. She don't know what's about to happen to her for the night. But this woman down here with that arrow, you clearly see she is intoxicated, okay? So before we get into it, as always, I want to issue a disclaimer. I am not a paralegal. I'm not a legal professional. I'm not offering any legal advice. We are simply going over court documents, reading them, and making, the best out of them and giving our commentary. So I'm going to start off with the exactly, Nikki, hashtag we can read. Okay. So I'm going to start off with the lawsuit where the young lady is actually detailing what happened, with her and her brother. And I believe she must have been underage at the time, but this person is actually saying who she is. She is giving her name, okay? LaTroya Grayson is her name, all right? So let's get into LaTroya's lawsuit. Plaintiff LaTroya Grayson, or Miss Grayson, by and through her attorneys, hereby alleges and affirms of the defendant Sean Combs, aka P. Diddy, Diddy, Puff, Puff Daddy, Puffy, Brother Love, Diddy or Combs, Bad Boy Entertainment Holdings, Mike Savis, Delta Airlines, Atlantic Records, K Jams, Roger Smith Hotel, and John and Jane Doe's 1 through 10. These are all collectively known as the defendants. Alleges upon information and belief as to all other matters as follows. On November 16, 2023, Cassie Ventura. So I'm not going to read all of that. Okay. This is just detailing Cassie, filing a lawsuit. And it's basically saying how brave Cassie was. This kicked off the events of other people filing lawsuits. This next gets into the jurisdiction and venue that the court has over this case. Procedural requirements, the reason why this person is able to now file a case after so many years, it is because of the NYC Victims of Gender Motivated Violence Protection Act. Hold on for 1 minute, you guys. All right. Mike's going to take you, Evan. All right. So they're just saying that because of that act, she's able to now file. All right. So then this talks about the parties that he would have. This just shows a picture of Cassie and Diddy. Okay. So this is talking about Bad Boy Entertainment and describes. So the reason that they are putting Bad Boy Entertainment as a defendant, it is because defendant BBE, Bad Boy Entertainment, has been named in several lawsuits where defendant Combs has been accused of claims of sexual abuse and sex trafficking as alleged in the instant complaint. Defendant Atlantic Recording Corporation is a domestic business corporation licensed to do business in New York. The reason why they are being sued is because Atlantic was responsible for and facilitated the event that lured the plaintiff to defendant Combs in New York where she was injured. Now, defendant Savis, upon information and belief, is a citizen, resident, and domiciled in the state of New York. Now, the reason that he's being sued is because he was an employee with the Atlantic Records company, and he was responsible for promoting, coordinating, and arranging the promotional contest, which was the cause of the plaintiff's injuries. She also is suing Delta Airlines because Delta Airlines, in their capacity, was a common carrier and responsible for transporting and arranging the delivery of the plaintiff and possibly all of the contest winners to the defendants, which ultimately led to the plaintiff's injuries. K Jams, which is the the radio station where they won the tickets, they're being sued because they were responsible for and facilitated the event that fraudulently enticed the plaintiff to New York where she was injured. So she's feeling like they, led her to believe that something else was going to go down and she ended up being injured. Roger Smith Hotel operates a hotel in New York, and they're being sued because of their ongoing relationship and participation with Puffy, Atlantic, and K-Jams. They provided the lodging to potential victims. They were corrupt. They exploited the plaintiff and to benefit the hotel and other members. So they benefited from, the Atlantic records and everything, using their hotel as, they paid them to house the winners and all of that. So they're saying they were complicit in what was going on because they just wanted money. Defendant Roger Smith Hotel, in their capacity as a common carrier, was responsible for the accommodations of the plaintiff and all of the contest winners, which ultimately led to this person's injuries. Upon information and belief, the plaintiff alleges that defendant Doe's 1 through 10, inclusive, are other parties not yet identified who have violated the plaintiff by assaulting, battering, and threatening her, conspired and or aided and abated the defendant Combs and the other defendants in their participation in a corrupt organization that caused the plaintiff's injuries. The true names, whether corporate, individual, or otherwise, of the defendants 1 through 10 inclusive, are presently unknown to the plaintiff, which therefore sues said defendants by such fictitious names and will seek leave to amend this complaint to show their true names and capacities when same have been ascertained. So what she's saying here is that she does not know who the John Does or Jane Does. She doesn't know who these people are, but she just knows that some people had to have helped Diddy with assaulting her. And through the course of this lawsuit and investigation, they're going to find out who these people names are, and then they're going to amend the complaint and put their names in the complaint. Top 20 Louisiana Law says, my first time here. Good morning, everyone. Good morning and welcome, Top 20 Louisiana Law. Nice to see you. Make sure you hit that like button. And if you like what you see over here, make sure you subscribe. The limitations Article 16 of the CPLR do not apply because one or more of the exemptions set forth in CPLR 1602 apply. Okay, whatever. So this is what LaToya Grayson looks like. Okay. She's an individual who resides in Oklahoma. Okay. Plaintiff at all times relevant to the action was 23 years old. So at the time of this situation, she was 23. She was the guest of her half sibling who won the contest on defendant K-Jam's radio station and agreed to accompany her sibling on what she believed to be a legitimate all expenses paid trip to a Diddy white party in New York in 2006. And her life has been detrimentally impacted ever since. So here are the allegations. The radio contest. In late 2006, defendant K-Jams began promoting a contest on its radio station, 105.3 Jams in Oklahoma, sponsored by defendants Combs, BBE, Atlantic, and Delta, offering the winner a prize of an all expenses paid vacation for two to New York City to attend a Diddy white party. Hold on, guys. Okay. At this point, defendant Combs' white parties were legendary and ongoing as they had begun in 1998 and they were in full swing by 2006. Eagerly, the plaintiff and her sibling tried to win the K-Jams radio contest. Eventually, the plaintiff's sibling was able to win the contest. The contest included a round-trip airfare for the winner and a guest, one hotel room in New York, and 2 tickets to attend Diddy's white party in New York. Upon information and belief, this was not a traditional white party thrown by defendant Combs, as those typically occur during Labor Day holiday, but this was a separate promotional party. Initially, the party was scheduled for October 6, 2006, but was then rescheduled without warning or explanation. The plaintiff received an initial letter from Atlantic providing instructions on how to attend the party and the details of the party dated for the original date of the white party. She included an exhibit here, which is a receipt, honey, showing their communication that was sent to them by Atlantic Records, explaining this whole white party situation. The party was then rescheduled for October 16th of 2006. The plaintiff was provided a plane ticket issued by Delta for departure on October 16th from Tulsa to New York JFK Airport, returning to Tulsa the next day on October 17th, 2006. In addition to the date of the party being rescheduled, the theme of the party was also changed from a white party to a black party. All right. So they started off being white and ended up getting dark. Due to the change of the required color attire to attend the party, the plaintiff was forced to purchase a new outfit that was within the new theme and dress requirements for admittance. The plaintiff and her sibling had never been to New York City, and they were very excited about their trip and their attendance at a celebrity party hosted by defendant Combs. The plaintiff and her sibling rented a limousine to transport them from the airport to the hotel in an effort to make the most of their free trip. Here is below showing her in the limo, inside the limo, standing outside of the limo. Now, I will say Diddy did have a type, okay? They appear to be very young looking. They do appear to look like teenagers, underage. So when they said that, when that 13-year-old, when the young autistic 13-year-old claims that she was 13 at the time, and she went to this Diddy party and she was assaulted by Sean Combs and Sean Carter, the limo driver said he had a type. And we all assumed that it was like a younger looking person. Well, look at this. This lady was 23 at the time. She looks younger than 23. So this is definitely fitting the description and the mold, of what Diddy's so-called type was back then. Now, the type that he liked to assault. Upon arrival in NYC, the plaintiff checked into the pre-arranged hotel, the Roger Smith Hotel. The plaintiff was required to pay a cash deposit to the hotel, which was provided and paid by Atlantic. She still has all of the original paperwork and receipts, okay? This shows the ticket of the deposit. She has kept this throughout the years. The black party. The plaintiff changed into her requisite black outfit and met the transportation van arranged by Atlantic employee Mike Savage downstairs at the hotel. Along with the plaintiff in the transportation van arranged by Atlantic employee Mike Savage, there were several other contest winners who won the same contest from their home cities, and they were also flown to New York as radio contest winners for this Diddy Black Party. Upon arrival at the location where the black party was thrown, plaintiff and the other contest winners were forced to wait in line for entrance into the party. Now, this is a picture of her with other contestant winners, okay? The plaintiff and other contestant winners were approved for entry by security based on their appearances and their attire. Individuals were not let into the party based on their position in line, but rather based on their attractiveness and what they had on. After waiting in line for approximately 45 minutes, the plaintiff was finally granted entry into the party. Even though the plaintiff was granted entry, her sibling was not, and the plaintiff was separated from her sibling before realizing her sibling had not also granted entry into the party. So you came there with the actual winner, which was your brother, and they separated y'all. And you wasn't able to get in. He wasn't able to get in. You the winner now. Just imagine you being the winner and not being able to get in. But your sister was able because why? How she looked, her attire. Plaintiff did not see, nor does she remember seeing her sibling at the party during the plaintiff's time inside the party. While inside the party, the plaintiff took pictures with some of the celebrities in attendance, including rappers Babs, from making the band and Bone Crusher. So here goes the photos she took with various people. Then at one point, the plaintiff met an individual who purported to be defendant Combs's assistant, and he befriended the plaintiff, who was alone. So this man down here is supposedly, an assistant of Diddy's. He saw that the plaintiff was alone, so he, you know, befriended her and sat around her, I guess, to offer her company. She was there, probably wandering around, just sitting there looking lost. Now, while at the party, there was no bar for the party goers to get drinks. Instead, there were pre-made drinks, and they were being circulated throughout the party by waitresses. Now, that is the picture right here of the actual waitresses that were, giving out these drinks. Now, what do they look like to you? This look like sex workers. Scarface says, this is another story that makes no sense. Nobody just trolling the chat. That's my opinion. It's a money grab. It makes no sense. So why was she going to the party without her sibling when they came together? So basically, the way I'm getting it, the way I'm reading it, she came there with her sibling. They were in line. First, it was a white party. It then changed to a black party. They had to go get outfits to, be in black. And you had to look a certain way in order to get in. She said here in the complaint that people weren't being let in based off of how long they were sitting in line or what position they had in line. They were being let in based off how they looked. So they got separated, her and her sibling, because I guess maybe his attire wasn't fitting, and so he didn't get in. So she got in and went on about her business. Now, right there, to be honest with you, if my brother couldn't get in, I'm not going in. As a female, I'm not going in. If I came with the winner of the contest, what I look like going in and enjoying myself, but not making sure that he got in. Top 20 Louisiana law says, might I ask what federal court this was filed in? It should be page 1 at the top left. This looks like, I think this is New York. Let's check. United States District Court, Southern District of New York. All of these are being filed out of New York, as it seems. Okay. All right. So let's get back down to where we were. Okay. But like I said, if my brother, he's the one that actually won the party, and I go on and go in and I leave him out. Okay, no, that's just right there. I would not have left him and just went. I don't have anybody with me. I'm at a celebrity event. No, if he can't get in, I can get in. Or I would have talked with the security like, hey, he's a winner of a contest. We came all the way from Oklahoma or wherever they came from. I forget where they came from. Tulsa, yeah, Oklahoma. We came all the way from there. Here, here's our tickets or whatever she would have had to show. I'm not getting in unless he gets in, or, something. I wouldn't have just went in and left him. But anyway, after less than 2 pre-made drinks provided by the waitresses, the plaintiff began to feel sick and tried to go to the restroom. The next memory that the plaintiff has is awaking at St. Vincent's Medical Center of New York. And she has the statement of account that shows that she was actually there at this hospital. The emergency visit. So this is basically like a bill that shows how much it costs, for her to be there and all of that. So this is proof that she was there on that night. And so this is dated October 17th, 2006. That's what it says. And it looks like it's self-pay. She did pay the $450. I think that's how much it was or whatever. Um, but that's her receipt showing that she was there. Plaintiff has no memory or recollection on how she ended up at the hospital. When a plaintiff regained consciousness at the hospital, she noticed that her shirt was ripped, her underwear was missing, she was not wearing any shoes, and the money she had traveled with was stolen. The only money that the plaintiff had remaining was a $20 bill. The plaintiff was admitted to the St. Vincent's Hospital, treated, and released. Upon her release from the hospital, plaintiff, a tourist, had no way of knowing how to return to her hotel as smartphones were not commonplace at the time. Plaintiff remained in the waiting area of the lobby of the hospital after her release for so long she was eventually forced out by hospital security. Now that I can't see that happening. I can't see hospital security forcing you out. Okay. You are a victim. You have a wristband on. You still have this wristband from 2006. So I can't even fathom that they would have put her out. Hospitals don't close, especially emergency rooms. Now they do have where certain lobby areas, the doors will lock and you may have to go out. Like, you know how they have the main entrance after certain hours, maybe 8 or 10 or something. Those lobby area, those doors might be closed, but people are still sitting in, around if you're in the hospital, if you are an actual guest or a visitor, if you are supposed to be there. I've never heard of anybody being put out of a hospital. So I don't know about that part. She was able to find a book of matches in her purse bearing the name of the hotel where she was domiciled. Plaintiff then held a taxi and returned to the hotel using the $20 bill she had left in her purse. When the plaintiff returned to her hotel, she called a friend and explained she was not sure what happened to her, but the plaintiff believed that she was drugged, assaulted, robbed, with no memory of how she arrived at the hospital, as her last memory was being at Diddy's black party. Plaintiff had virtually no time to process or further determine what happened to her, as her flight back to Oklahoma left at 3:50 October 17th, less than 24 hours after the plaintiff arrived in New York City. Now, this says 2024, but that's just a typo. They meant to type 2006. So this shows the tickets of her going back. The day after the plaintiff returned home from New York, she received a call from a New York area code with an anonymous female caller. The anonymous female caller asked to speak to the plaintiff. The anonymous female caller then threatened the plaintiff, telling her that any attempts to pursue anything about the assault would be futile because defendant Combs was a celebrity and that the plaintiff would just be wasting her time. The plaintiff was confused and scared as she did not know what happened to her. The plaintiff, hearing from this anonymous female caller, was further jarring and traumatizing, as the plaintiff learned that not only was she viciously assaulted, leading to her waking up at the hospital, but that defendant Combs was involved and the plaintiff would be unable to seek justice for her injuries because he was a celebrity. When the plaintiff tried to ask the anonymous female caller her name and how she obtained the plaintiff's phone number, the anonymous female caller hung up. When the plaintiff tried to call the number back, the number was disconnected. For approximately a week after the plaintiff returned home, she felt constant pain in the inside and outside of her vajayjay. The pain, she believed, was from rough intercourse. However, the plaintiff had no memory of engaging in intercourse with anyone. The plaintiff did not seek medical treatment or otherwise report her assault to law enforcement because she was scared and confused. First, because she did not know exactly what happened to her. Second, because of the threats she received from the anonymous female caller of defendant Combs's involvement and it being a waste of time due to his celebrity status. The plaintiff became severely depressed and felt shame despite not fully remembering what had happened to her. The plaintiff felt betrayed by the defendants, specifically defendants Combs, Atlantic, and K-Jams, because she believed that attending a party thrown by defendant Combs would be a safe environment. The plaintiff felt betrayed by the defendants Atlantic and K-Jams because they failed to protect her despite creating, promoting, and financing a contest that led to her injuries and lured her to an unsafe place without warning. The assault and fear after the assault led the plaintiff into a tailspin of anxiety and depression. The plaintiff was unable to maintain employment or otherwise be a productive member of society for at least a year after her assault and battery in New York City. The plaintiff believes that the defendants committed the assault and battery against her solely because of her gender. The plaintiff has been reminded of her assault by defendant Combs as he is an inescapable presence in music, television, and film. So she's saying she had to be reminded of this because Diddy's everywhere. You know, he's so famous. So she had to live with this every day. Cupid6979 says, I hate to downplay victims. Believe me, I know how it feels. However, karma has no face. She strikes at her time. Why would you not have waited for your sibling and then call them and make new plans? You know, how do you leave the actual winner of the contest? You go in, but you leave him behind. You don't know where he is now. And so my thing is like, where is he at? So you went to the hospital. You woke up in the hospital, right? Basically. Where is your brother? How did he get home? She doesn't mention that he was at the hotel when she got back. Was the brother looking for you? How does the brother not know where you are? Y'all came there together. I don't see anything about the brother. Where is he during this time? This is why you don't go place, you come with a +1, you leave with a +1. But seriously though, not trying to downplay and, not victim shaming or anything, but it is just, it's a legitimate question. Where's the brother? You end up in the hospital. The brother, after you left the brother at the door, you got separated from the brother. Where did the brother go? Did he eventually get let in the party, or did he go back to the hotel and then you woke up in a hospital and then you wandered back to the hotel after you saw that there was a matchbook in your purse that said the name of your hotel? So that's how you got back to the hotel. I don't get it. You didn't explain your brother. Like, there's no more mention of the second person. So the plaintiff believes that the defendants committed assault because of her gender. The plaintiff has been reminded of this assault because she sees Diddy everywhere. The plaintiff has also experienced intimacy issues, struggling to maintain emotional and romantic relationships. Defendant Combs has altered the trajectory of the plaintiff's life. To this day, the plaintiff experiences bouts of depression, anxiety, body image issues, feelings of worthlessness, and intimacy issues because of her trauma stemming from her assault. But my thing is, how do you have trauma from an assault that you don't remember that happened? I mean, again, not downplaying that this could have possibly happened, but how do you have bouts of depression, anxiety, body image, and all of this when you don't remember what actually happened? And then how do you know if it happened there? Just because you woke up in a hospital, how do you know that you were assaulted anywhere, let alone by Diddy or any other people? How do you sue K-Jams? How do you sue Atlantic? These people didn't know that something like that was going to happen. That doesn't have anything to do with them. The hotel, didn't know that anything was happening. The actual assault didn't happen at the hotel. So how does the hotel get blamed for someone assaulting you and it didn't even happen on their grounds? It happened at the white party or the black party because they were the hotel that housed the contestants. That doesn't mean anything. So I'm not questioning, that a victim can't, be still traumatized. But how are you traumatized about something that you don't remember? Right? So she seeks justice for, she says, plaintiff feared further violence and or retaliation from defendant Combs in filing this lawsuit. But since defendant Combs has been incarcerated with no bond, the plaintiff feels safe to seek redress for her injuries. Plaintiff seeks justice for herself and for any other defendant Combs's victims, including the countless victims who've already filed suit against the defendant. I mean, I don't know what to make of this, again, if your brother came there with you and you leave and go and get into this party, where did your brother go? He wasn't able to get in. They didn't allow him entry because of his attire. So did he go back to the hotel? Was he at the hotel when you got there? Right? So the rest of this is just detailing again how K Jams, Atlantic, and all these people are involved. They're saying it's a RICO. They transport people around. None of that. I don't think that has to do with this. Defendant's scheme was reasonably calculated to deceive the plaintiff of ordinary prudence and comprehension through the execution of their complex and illegal scheme to misrepresent the true purpose of Puffy's parties, and that attending those parties would lead to assault, battery, or overall danger to the plaintiff. So she's basically saying that all these people, they helped Diddy, and like the Cage Jams, the hotel, Atlantic Records, they're all part of this complex and illegal scheme that misrepresented the true purpose of the Black Party and the contest. Right? She's saying that they were all in on it, and so that's how come they should also be held accountable. She's suing them too. They didn't, if any type of assault or anything occurs, they don't have anything to do with it. But she is saying they put on a ruse. Like these contests are actually smoke screens for him to do these assaults. I think that's a stretch. That's a stretch of the imagination. I don't think this is a RICO. So this is she's saying this is a RICO enterprise. I don't feel like it is. She says defendant Atlantic Records ensured cash payments to the plaintiff were executed. The plaintiff does not recall receiving appropriate federal tax documents for payments or the value of the trip, as if they independently declared these payments on their taxes. It is unclear if the defendants requested an audit of defendant Combs's business financial records to ensure the resources provided to defendant Combs was not being used to fund illegal activities. Like, some of these when they put these claims and stuff in these lawsuits, they just beef up a lot of information. Like they just make things sound more than what they, this is, I don't know. Mail fraud. Come on. Now that is talking about mail fraud. Wire fraud. This is just trumped up. It's just too much stuff. It's just too much stuff. She's suing for assault and battery. As set forth the defendants Combs and Doe's. So she's saying other people. So she is alleging, now get this, not remembering what happened to her, waking up in a hospital. She's alleging, though, that Diddy and some Does did initiate non-consensual contact with her. They forcibly touched her. They drugged her without her knowledge or consent. They did intimidate and cause her safety and security to feel threatened. And they did assault and sexually batter her. How do you know this? If you say you don't remember, the last thing you remember is drinking a drink that Diddy gave you, or that was passed out by him or through him to you, whatever. That's all you remember. And after that, you woke up in the hospital. So how do you know that you were sexually battered, or anybody, a bunch of other people was in on it? How could you just assume that there were multiple men with Diddy assaulting you? Jenkum S says no one ends up in federal maximum security for nothing. No one said that. I didn't say that he's innocent. I'm reading the complaint and I'm just, asking questions. It's easy to see the ones putting their hand out for money. Like I'm just reading what I see. And for me, some of this stuff just doesn't add up and it doesn't make sense. It's our job to question things. A lot of times people just take things at face value, like I said, because they don't like these celebrities. They hate on these celebrities because they got a couple dollars. You know what I'm saying? So they be wanting to see the worst. But it's our job as, the public, when we going over things like this, it's our job to vet the information. Spicy Hot says, was a rape kit done on her at the hospital? I don't see any mention of that. You can tell by the interview that the lawyer just wants to be in the spotlight because she doesn't want the witness to answer questions. T Goddess says, yes, 1 + 1 = 4 on this one and that Jay-Z one. I mean, some of this is just questionable. All right. But again, how do you know if you don't remember what happened? How do you know that there was multiple? So you just assume. But like I said, if you don't know what happened to you, how do you know that this happened there? How do you know it happened at the party? What if you were so out of it or drugged or something? Maybe you left the party and went somewhere else. Maybe you were intoxicated and went off with someone else. These are things that are going to be said during trial. Carol says, I believe her until proven otherwise. And, we, most of the time, that's what we like to do. We like to believe the victim until we find out other information. But my job as a host and going through these documents is to just put out the factual proof and to weigh both sides. I actually am not saying what I think one way or the other. I do believe that some of the things that are being said right now are a little questionable. And then I believe that some of the things that are being said in this lawsuit match Diddy's MO. And it smells like Diddy. It's all, you know what I'm saying? The passing out of the drinks, her feeling woozy. I can go with all that. But there's just some little things I'm like, okay, why would you leave your brother? Why? He's the one that actually won the contest. So why would you leave him behind? That's number one. Number two, when you claim to have been assaulted and you woke up in the hospital, where's your brother? She's not making any mention about my brother was by my side. My brother, when I got back to the hotel, he was there and I told him what happened. So I'm pretty sure those details will come out. But it's just little things like that I question. I'm thinking she had a good time in New York. It was her first time there. She was enjoying herself and it got out of hand. Just my opinion. Again, how do we know that something else didn't happen between the time he gave her that drink and then she woke up in the hospital. Maybe she went off with someone else, or, we just don't know. We don't know yet. Nikki says, I don't understand how you wake up in the hospital, no test was done, and you claim the hospital put you out. That's another thing. What hospital puts out a victim? What hospital puts out a patient? You still got the armband on you. Even now, you have it as evidence. Hospitals don't put people out, especially those that have been raped. You know what I'm saying? And assaulted, and you woke up because you was drugged with no memory. They're not going to just put you out on the street, no matter how long you stay in there. A lot of times they have to help find people placement because they're homeless or something like that. You came there from out of town. I'm pretty sure you told them your story. You won a contest. You went. They're not going to just put you out in the middle of nowhere. You don't know where you are. You from a whole nother state. You don't know nothing about their town. No, nothing about the location where you were. The hospital is not going to just put you out and put you on the street. The security, hey, you got to get out of here. We don't know where you're going to go, but you got to go. Huh? You in New York City, big ass New York City, and then $20, only $20 you had. So only $20 you had to your name, and that $20 got you there in a cab. Okay, we know New York is expensive. How far was the hospital? And then the white party, where was this, where was it located? She didn't mention any tearing of her private area. They didn't test her for any STDs. This is what the hospital would do if a woman was SA. Now, she said that she woke up in the hospital with her clothes torn and her panties missing. Her vaginal area was sore for the next week or a few days after or whatever. But she didn't mention anything about them doing swabs. There's no testing in here that shows evidence that a kid, or I'm pretty sure if they did that, that would have been some type of evidence, because she's got everything else. She's got the tickets, the plane tickets, the wristband from the hospital, the receipt that shows she paid, to the emergency room fee, but nothing that shows the rape kit. Okay, I'll go along with maybe they have it sealed. Maybe it's information that they don't want everybody to see because it's a medical record. So it could be HIPAA or something like that. So let's just say we're just going to give it the benefit of the doubt that she was assaulted and they did do a rape kit, but it's just not available because of HIPAA. We can't just put a medical record in, the lawsuit because the public can get these things. So, do I think Diddy is innocent? No, but we have to keep an open mind about these cases and analyze them and see if they make sense. That's all I'm saying. I agree. And that's what I do with everything. Cupid says, like I said earlier, just so many fakes pushing the real victims under the carpet and makes it hard to tell who's right from wrong. Yes, I agree. That's why when people are assaulted, they don't come out because they don't believe people are going to believe them, or, it's going to be hard to get people, to understand why it took them so long to say something. Those are the typical questions. Well, why you hold on to this for so long? Well, how is it that you still got that wristband? Was you planning on, you know what I'm saying? Did you set this up? Was you planning on trying to sue somebody years later? Who keeps a wristband from a hospital visit from 2006? Unless in the back of your mind, you're thinking that one day you just might sue the person. I don't have I done gave birth to 3 kids. I don't have wristbands from the hospital. I've been in a lot of situations going in the emergency room, and I don't keep, as soon as I rip that thing off, I throw it in the trash. Who keeps a wristband, especially from an event that's traumatizing? So you claim it's traumatizing to see Diddy every day, but it's not traumatizing to look at that goddamn wristband that shows and reminds you of being battered and drugged and all of this. That's not triggering. That would be triggering as hell. Cupid says, well, I still have my grandsons. Well, because it means something to you, but didn't mean anything to me. So I didn't, like a just a normal emergency visit or something like that. But again, it was a traumatic situation. So I'm just going to say maybe she kept it because it was trauma related and she wanted to have it to remind her, I don't know. But again, it's very convenient that you got the tickets, the Delta tickets still. You got the wristband. You got the Atlantic communication from Atlantic Records. I mean, but this was a memorable event. It's not every day that you win a contest and you go to a Diddy party, right? So, but again, that is the gist of this new complaint from LaTroya Grayson. Okay. Now we're going to move on to Jane Doe number 50,000. This is another case. This is a second one that was brought forth by someone claiming to have been assaulted at the 1991 charity event. Now, remember, they had this event. I did a video on that event. You can go and check it out. I did a documentary detailing how that happened. The stampede, people were ran over. Like, I did an entire deep dive on that. Now, it's now being revealed that during that time, and he, this was going on, he was back in the back assaulting somebody. Okay. Gave it a drink, same old thing. Gave them a drink, assaulted them. She was there to see one rapper, and he actually assaulted her. And then after Diddy assaulted her, she said, please don't go tell the certain rapper. I don't want the rapper to think that I had sex with you willingly. So please tell him what you just did to me, that you like, what? But I'll read it. But that's basically what she said. Like, she came there to see one rapper. She actually, was met by Diddy, and Diddy said, hey, you know what? I can take you to go meet this rapper because he was there at the event. I could take you to go see this rapper. And she's like, for real? Yeah. So he gets her alone, gives her a drink or something, or however she came by this drink, feeling woozy. He assaults her. And then she tells him after the assault, please tell the rapper that I came to see him, but that you assaulted me. I don't want him to think I just had sex with you willingly. Like, why would you say something like that? If you came to see a rapper as a fan, why would he care who you had sex with? Like, I don't. And what would make you think Diddy would go tell somebody, yeah, I just R'd her. Yeah, I just drugged and R'd her. So she didn't want it. You know what I mean? So you just been R'd by somebody. You just been assaulted. But on your mind, what you got on your mind is still meeting a rapper, and you're still worried at this time. You're worried that what the rapper is going to think about you. Huh? That don't make no sense. So let's jump into this new one as well. Okay. Oh. Oh no, let me see. All right, is that? I don't know if this is. Okay, here we go. So this one is going to be by a Jane Doe. Okay. This case seeks compensatory and punitive damages for a violent sexual assault. Of course, it's against Diddy. So I'm going to go and get to the actual assault because, again, all of this is just detailing his, past, his history with, all of the different lawsuits that are coming out. So we're not going to read all that. I'm just going to get to. So she's suing Diddy, Bad Boy Entertainment, CEOPCO. She's just suing all of Diddy's companies. All right. And they're just describing each company and what it does, where it's at, all this. So here's the allegations. The plaintiff and her female friend visited New York City. Now, this was filed yesterday. Plaintiff and her female friend visited New York City in December of 1991 to spend Christmas with two of her friends who lived in the city. After the holiday, the plaintiff stayed in the city to attend an event she was invited to by another friend of hers, a rapper who was prominent in the industry at the time. All right, so she stayed in the city to go to an event. She already knew this rapper. All right, so she was going to go see the rapper at the charity event. The event was a charity basketball game occurring at City College in New York City on December 28, 1991. The plaintiff and her female friend were dropped off at the event early so that they could get in to see the rapper who invited her. The plaintiff recalls the crowd outside being very large and growing unruly. But once she spoke to security, she and her friend were let in ahead of the crowd. Once inside, the plaintiff watched security attempt to contact her rapper friend via radio, but was unable to. The plaintiff recalled him telling her to ask for his co-sponsor of the event if no one could find him when she got there. That co-sponsor was an up-and-coming producer by the name of Puffy. So now I think I know who the rapper friend was. I think it was Heavy D. Okay. I believe that it was Heavy D because Heavy D and Diddy, they co-sponsored this event. All right. So I believe that that's who the rapper was. Okay. So she came there to see the rapper. No one could get in touch with him. So they asked for the co-sponsor of the event, which was Diddy. Plaintiff asked to be directed to Puffy despite not knowing who that was. So see, at this time, we know that Diddy was just an up-and-coming A&R, producer, whatever. He was not really all that mega famous or anything. He was still coming from his college, back and forth. He was just in the promotional game. So she didn't even know who he was. She and her friend were taken to an office at the back of a locker room where Combs had a makeshift dressing room set up. He introduced himself and his bodyguard, who then stood outside the door while they talked. Plaintiff's friend told Combs how excited she was to be there and how much she wanted to meet some of the other celebrities that were there. After mentioning her favorite rapper, Combs said that he could take her to see him and that plaintiff should stay and keep waiting for Myers. Plaintiff did so, but Myers did not arrive. Eventually, Combs returned with a plastic cup full of what he purported to be Coca-Cola. The plaintiff drank some of it, but did not finish it as she did not like the taste. The plaintiff began to feel woozy and attempted to leave to find her rapper friend on her own, but Combs blocked her exit. He told her she needed to stay and that is when she noticed he was touching himself in a suggestive manner. He began to fondle the plaintiff and overpowered her when she struggled. Combs removed her underwear and began molesting her before climbing on top of her and penetrating her. Shortly after the assault began, Combs was called to the door by the bodyguard who was standing watch on the other side of it. Combs came back and told the plaintiff he had to go deal with something. The plaintiff told Combs what he did was not right and she needed to tell her rapper friend because she was not there to see him and did not want him to think that she had sex with Diddy willingly. Combs told her that she should not do that because people can come up missing and that he would never know. Plaintiff waited in the room for a short period to gather herself and make sure Combs was not returning, then took the opportunity to leave. The scene outside was chaotic. There were people packed into the building and running in every direction. The plaintiff spent about an hour looking for her friend before finding an exit. The plaintiff eventually found her friend, and the two of them made it to a phone to call for a ride home. Oh, gosh. What do you guys think of all that? I mean, this goes back all the way to 1991. Yes, it was a stampede that night, Scarface. Yes, and people died. Yes. I think it was 9 victims. I want to say it was 9 people. I did a video. Let me look it up real quick. Yes, it was 9 people. 9 people were killed in that. Yes. All right, let's see. Yeah. It says 9 people were killed in the 1991 stampede at College City in Harlem. This was organized by Diddy. The stampede occurred during a celebrity basketball game that was billed as an AIDS charity event. The event drew an estimated 5,000 fans to a facility that was only supposed to hold 2,730. Hundreds of people tried to push their way into the gym, resulting in trampling and crushing. 29 others were also injured. A Maryland report blamed the police, college officials, student organizers, and Combs for the stampede. However, he was never really, nothing ever really happened. I know people were given money, but 9 people lost their lives that day, and all he could do was be in the back assaulting somebody. Again, giving them something to drink. And see, this is why I always tell my kids and anybody else, don't take drinks from people that, especially drinks that are already in cups. I don't even care if they crack open the soda and pour it in a cup for you. They could have done slip something in a hole, put a little pinhole and did. I don't trust anybody. Get your own, you know, come with your own drink if you're going to something like that, or wait till you get home and go buy you a canned soda or something. But taking a drink that was already in a red cup, glass, anything is a no-no. In the club, leaving your drink unattended is a no-no. Having somebody go buy you a drink, come walk back with the drink all uncovered is a no-no. Okay. But a lot of these people have been so starstruck, wanting to be in his presence, so excited to be invited to a party, that they are just willing to do anything. Yes, it does sound like he has a problem and always had a problem with R-ing people. Because if he started, this was before he even got into, Bad Boy and made it big. This was in 1991. So this was in his blood. He just got with Clive and Andre, who cultivated that shit and told him, the world is yours. Here's the keys to the city, in so many words. Go on and do as you will. And they created a monster, and he just was off to the races. Exactly. Tess said if Heavy D was his rapper friend, it would be hard to verify that this happened because he's dead. With all these liars coming out, it makes it hard for real victims. I mean, just like the 13-year-old when that she was 13, the person that drove her to the MTV Awards when she was 13, that person is no longer living. So people that can corroborate these stories, there should be somebody alive from back then. It was only 2001, 2006, 2008. Now, I did come across the John Doe case. I wanted to go over that too really briefly because I didn't get a chance to look at that. This is the one that was accusing Diddy of assaulting him, the Macy's employee. Okay. And he's accusing that Macy's cut him off and fired him after, over these allegations because they felt like they were going to be doing some type of campaign with Diddy or whatever back then. And they didn't want to lose that, so they fired this guy. And he's saying that Diddy assaulted him at the Macy's department store where he was an employee at. So I want to get into those records as well. And because it's just over at this point, it is a snowball effect. It is an avalanche of real versus not so real. Some of this, I believe that it could be suspect, but some of these people are real victims. And we never want to victim shame. We never want to, call into question anything that a victim is saying happened because this is their story. It happened. But some of these people where it didn't happen, like, girl, I question the fact that you went there to see Heavy D because that's who it was, because it was his co-sponsor, and that's who was the co-sponsor. She came there to see him because this was a friend of hers already, right? But after this situation happened to you, you telling him that he needs to tell your friend what he did to you. Diddy needs to tell because you don't want your friend thinking that you just came and screwed and was just a floozy. Nobody's going to admit that they assaulted you because in their mind, they're not even, when you're sick like that, in your mind, you're not even really thinking that you're doing anything wrong or you get off on it. The thrill of it, the surprise of it. He in the back where they're out doing this charity event, and he in the back raping. That's sick. That's a thrill in the mind. Anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to get this shit off anywhere you're at. So let me pull up this account of the Macy's situation because I just came across this one and I was like, oh, wow. I didn't read this before. So I want to look at the John Doe, the Macy's employee. So, and he doesn't give his name either. So this one, in 2008, the plaintiff worked as an advisor for Echo Clothing and had been employed by the company for approximately 7 years. Okay. Echo Clothing at the time was among the most popular clothing lines in the country. In 2008, Combs's Sean John clothing line was also hitting peak popularity. The plaintiff had, in fact, met Combs several times in connection with Combs's development and marketing of the Sean John clothing line. Echo and Sean John were competing lines within the clothing industry, both having a large amount of success within the hip hop community. Moreover, both lines had relationships with and were carried at the time by Macy's. In or around May of 2008, the plaintiff was in the stock room at Macy's flagship store in Manhattan when Combs and 3 of his bodyguards entered into that stock room. The plaintiff came upon Combs's and his bodyguard at a T junction in the stock room where the plaintiff had very little room to maneuver. Combs was flanked by 2 large bodyguards to the left and 1 large bodyguard to the right. Immediately after turning a corner in the stockroom, the plaintiff was hit hard around the base of the neck, possibly with a pistol. The blow forced the plaintiff to his knees, and plaintiff looked up. And as he looked up, he saw that each of the bodyguards had guns in their waistbands. The plaintiff heard multiple voices call out things like, "I'll kill you." Combs approached the plaintiff while the plaintiff was still on his hands and knees and said, "Suck my D, Echo," referring to the clothing line that the plaintiff worked for. Combs thereafter forced his peen into the plaintiff's mouth and proceeded to forcefully and brutally orally R the plaintiff. Combs continued for at least 2 minutes until, letting loose. While orally R-ing the plaintiff, Combs grabbed the plaintiff's hair and made derogatory comments like, "You like that, white boy." After he was finished, Combs threw plaintiff's head aside and said words to the effect of, "Shut up," or "I'll kill you." Combs and his bodyguards began to leave, taunting plaintiff as they did. Combs proceeded to gather Sean John merchandise from the stockroom. He left the stockroom and headed out to the Macy's retail floor, where he began passing out merchandise to an adoring crowd as if nothing had happened. In shock and traumatized, the plaintiff gathered himself and went to Macy's security to report the assault. By this point, Combs and his bodyguards had left the store. Plaintiff was told that someone would speak with him, but no one ever did. Shortly thereafter, Macy's stopped letting the plaintiff into its flagship Herald Square store. Approximately 3 weeks later, the CEO of Macy's pressured Echo executives to fire the plaintiff because Macy's had just signed a multi-million-dollar deal with Sean John Clothing. Echo thereafter terminated the plaintiff from employment, and the plaintiff was told he could no longer live in his company-paid apartment. Plaintiff is informed and believes that the report of the assault was destroyed or otherwise purged from the Macy's records, and no action was ever taken as a result of this report. Plaintiff ultimately had to move out of New York. The plaintiff still fears for his life as a result of the incident and the threats made against him on that day, including the fact that the plaintiff was known to Combs by way of his work and rival clothing company, Echo. That's a lot right there. All right. So the man was actually, he was employed by Macy's, but he was working on the clothing brand Echo. Echo was in competition with Sean John. And then Diddy basically just came up in that storeroom with his bodyguards and SA'd John Doe. While they sat around, laughed, slapped high fives, and watched. It only took him 2 minutes to get a jizz, and then everything was hunky dory. Weird. So he's saying 2 bodyguards stood right there and let Diddy do that. This should be easy to verify. Find the 2 bodyguards, okay? Now, like I said, a lot of this stuff that is being said, it sounds like Diddy. All of these people that are making these claims, they do not know each other. They all come from different walks of life, but still and yet they are consistent with, the drugging. He likes people to, be on the knees, and he likes to put his peen in people, his mouth, and make people take that. That's probably why he came up with that slogan, take that. Because he making people take that. But again, all of these allegations, Diddy is innocent until proven guilty, child. We have to say that. We can't just say the man is guilty. He has to have his due process. He's got to have his day in court like everybody else. But to be honest with you, I think the way all of this is going to go, I see Diddy taking a deal. Okay. You see how Young Thug took a deal and now he's out. He got all these years parole, probation, whatever. This is what I see for Diddy. I don't see Diddy staying in there for life or, giving all these. I don't think it's going to be like R. Kelly where he's in there. However, I do believe that he's going to be faced with time, but they're going to give him some type of at home situation, supervision or whatever. But I don't believe he's going to walk away scot free. Okay. But I believe he's going to take some type of deal and get off. Yeah, that's what I do believe that. So, that was a lot of reading, child. Diddy. Jesus, horrific accounts of abuse. And just when we watch how he did Cassie in that video, I mean, stomping her out, cocking back his hand and punching her. Like, this man is, he's a problem. He was really abusing people. He was using his power to do whatever it is he wanted to do. And that's dangerous when you give someone that level of money, control, access. Look what they do with it. Just perverted, perversion. It's just ridiculous, you guys. So yeah, those are the court documents. If you guys catch the replay, let me know in the comments. What do you think is going on with Diddy? Is Diddy going to take a deal? I just really feel like it's just over for Diddy. There's going to be more and more and more revealed, more people coming out. I really believe that Jay-Z has something to hide. I don't think that the 13-year-old that we see I don't believe that girl was victimized by Sean Carter. However, I do believe that he and Diddy got into some compromising situations with victims. And I feel like there is going to be one credible, believable, one with receipts witness that is going to come forth and say the two of them, maybe even someone else all joined in. Okay. I'm expecting there to be a real victim very soon. Sweet Pea, is that pic with the white girls all the way to the left? Is that Claudia? Let me check. I guess you're talking about. Oh, you talking about on the lawsuit here. Let me see. Oh no, that's not. No, these are not Claudia. You talking about this? No, that's not Claudia. She's talking about this picture, guys. No. That's not Claudia. That's just that's a white young lady, white girl. But you talking about this one over here? No, that's not Claudia. All the way. Kind of resembles her, but no. But I'm telling you, this picture that I found when doing the thumbnail, if that shit don't speak volumes, look at this. And then there's another one too. But just take a look at this one. Like, what? I'll make this bigger. This is just telling us everything we need to know right here. Yeah, makeup level. I got the picture up. It looks like Claudia, but it's not her. Okay. Check this out. All right. What was I doing? Oh, wait. What was I getting, y'all? This is. All right, here it is. I want y'all to see this picture here. This young lady right down there, honey, she is not this right here. That young lady right there. Okay. Look at her head. Why is her head down like that? Her head is hiked down. If you look down here, look down there, her thigh is all out. This little slit right here. And he's steady passing out this tray that stuff is spilled all over the place. He don't want to get rid of that, like, oh, we get, because I don't want to waste, you know, possibly waste the stuff that's in it. But why are certain party goers drinking that and other party goers are drinking champagne? It looks like the men are all drinking out of the champagne flutes, and the women, or maybe unsuspecting, people that men that he might want to have his pick of the litter with, they're drinking these little shots. So I thought that was really interesting because I didn't even know that this photo was given all this. I just was looking for a photo of a Diddy white party. I just Googled that, and boom. I mean, her head is clearly down. She is clearly out of it. And he clearly passing out these drinks. They said, like they just said in that lawsuit, there wouldn't be no open bar. He just freely passes out drinks. Him, the bartenders, and why we call it, they should, at this point, they just waitresses or bottle girls, because this is not, you don't even have a bar open or whatever where they're making drinks. You got pre-mixed drinks. No. So that's all I got, you guys, for this video. As the case keeps developing, as we get more information, we definitely will come live and give you an update. I was given more information about the TD Jakes situation as well. Now TD Jakes is suing. If you don't know, TD Jakes is suing for defamation, claiming that, the young man that said, TD Jakes, compromise. I don't even want to, I don't want to get flagged, but y'all know what it was given when it came to TD Jakes and his accuser. Well, TD Jakes wasn't going for it, and he has filed a lawsuit, a complaint for defamation against the so-called accuser. Okay, so we will probably get to that video maybe this evening. We'll read the court documents for that. Okay, I also have to get caught up on Tory Lanez, the Meg Thee Stallion, and Milagro Graham situation, because there's some new developments on that as well. So that's what I got coming up this weekend, y'all. Y'all going over here and get on the Soul Sister website and try to get you some orders, some stocking stuffers. Okay, get you some. Child, let me tell y'all, when I washed my hair this week, that goddamn, I'm not just tooting my own horn, but that goddamn shampoo, that shampoo is a detangler to the gods. Okay, the shampoo, the conditioner, it smells so good. The goddamn peppermint just penetrates your scalp unbelievably. I mean, y'all, we got a product on our hand that is something for, I'm telling you, for 2025, we got something for the girls. Okay. We got something for the girls that needs to detangle. Wait till you slap that. Wait till y'all use that shampoo and that conditioner. Y'all gonna say she was not lying, honey. This is the truth. Okay. But like I said, going over there and check us out. We're going to be on Walmart website soon. I'll be working on that this weekend and finishing that up, finishing up my Etsy, finishing up the shop.com, all of that. I'll be getting all of that ready. And pretty soon, Soul Sister will be available everywhere, y'all. So make sure you like this video, subscribe on your way out, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Have a good weekend. Bye, guys.